Because it's sales, it's the most transparent job in a company,
Yeah.
and the numbers don't lie.
No.
I wasn't reaching my targets, but
Yeah.
I still felt and knew I am good. But
Ah.
somewhere in my sales process,
Yeah.
I'm not good enough.
Okay.
And that's what became my focus. But
Wow.
it started with that decision. I don't know what I need or how to get there, but
No.
I will get there.
Now, in a way, you trigger me to ask something I didn't really plan to, but and of course, there's dumb questions in sales. Welcome to this week's episode of Personal Selling Weekly. Today I'm happy to present Alexander. He's one of the best sales people I have ever met, and he have agreed today to share some of his secrets. And some of these secrets are, I think, maybe not only secret to us, but also a secret to himself. But let's see what happens. I think that's really what I like about sessions like this, is that it's not scripted, it's really unplugged. So if you are a little curious about what happens, it's nothing compared to how I feel. Today, we will actually apply NLP. And sometimes I get this question, what is NLP? And the way that Dr. Richard Bandler, one of the creators of NLP, describe it is that it's a study of successful behavior in opposing to traditional psychology, which is much more the study of the sick and what's wrong. So I have always been much more fascinated about what people do when they actually do something that works. And this is where we will start today and really focus our attention. So stay tuned for the next 10-15 minutes, and I'm sure that you will take away some interesting learnings. So again, welcome again to you, Alexander.
Thank you.
And before we dive in, could you just give our viewers a short introduction to who you are and what you're doing today?
Yes, I'm Alexander. I have been working in sales for my entire career. Started by a coincidence to make some money while studying, and became a phone salesman. And it turned out that I was pretty good at that.
Yeah.
And that evolved into thinking, now I need to sell something more complex and actually see the people and be in the room.
Yeah.
So I can't do very many things very well, but sales, I believe, is something that I understand and that I love doing every single day. And I'm actually very proud of saying I'm in sales, which not everyone is for some reason.
Yeah. So now, in a way, you trigger me to ask something I didn't really plan to, but in your career, you say you have worked with sales all your career. When in your career did you knew that, wow, I can actually sell?
Well, that's actually a funny situation. It was with an old partner of mine in an agency that asked me to go for a walk. Yeah. And he told me, you know, I like you and we work well together, but you're not a good salesperson. And I think you should find another path in your career and life. Yeah. And that hurt me very bad. Yeah. And I went home and I was probably close to crying because this was all I knew. Yeah. And it ended up with me deciding to prove him wrong. Yeah. And then I fell asleep like a baby and said, fine, now I'll figure out how to become successful. Yeah. And from that day on, my career changed in a lot of ways for the positive. Yeah. But it started with that decision. I don't know what I need or how to get there, but I will get there.
So in a way, you can say that he tricked you or triggered you into actually shift the whole position, or?
Yes, and he made me approach my own career and self-awareness in a new way. I had to kind of take a step out of myself and look at myself in another way, not the KPIs or the pipeline, but why would he say something like that? And why is it that it's not as successful as I need or want it to be?
Yeah, so that was basically triggered it.
Yeah.
Then listen to my question. When did you know that you were actually good at selling?
I think I've always known that, and I'm what many people will call a natural born seller. Yeah. Because I believe interaction is transaction, and I've always been good at getting my way. Yeah. But that also, maybe we can get back to that, actually was one of the things that was a problem for my further development, because I did something, but I hadn't learned it. It was born within me. So I didn't know why I was good or not good, or what actually worked or didn't work. So when I train a salesman like you, the ones that say I'm not good at sales actually end up better than me, I think, because they learn the methods in another way.
So in a way you could say that when this colleague was in a way telling you, giving you feedback, say, wow, this is not for you, you were actually not in a position where you could defend yourself because you didn't actually knew what you were doing, but you knew that you were good.
Yes, and that's quite a conundrum because it's sales. It's the most transparent job in a company, and the numbers don't lie.
No.
I wasn't reaching my targets, but I still felt and knew I am good. But somewhere in my sales process, I'm not good enough. And that's what became my focus.
So when in your career had that shifted? Was when did you knew, not only from knowing, but actually also, so what happened that made that shift for you, that actually made you also successful with sales? Well, when did you know that have happened?
Well, I have had several examples of it. One that comes to mind is that I, by a coincidence, got connected with a young entrepreneur who had just received his first investor money. And he was alone with a very good product. But it was like his first hire. The first money to spend out of the house was very important. And he had been at, I think, 5 or 10 different agencies. And by coincidence, we ended up together and we had a little brief talk, and I just listened. And he said, I would like to come to your office. And he expected a PowerPoint, a price, a solution, and instead was 2 bottles of red wine that I had heard he liked. And a conversation completely without agenda where I could genuinely just listen and be excited about his vision and what he was trying to do. It ended out with more than the 2 bottles. And when we were finished, he said, I'm now your client. We hadn't talked about the product, the solution, the price, but he said, when we talk, you listen and you actually make me believe in myself and the project more. So I like being with you. And now I would like you to direct, where do we go from here? And that's one of the times I knew it wasn't about pricing, delivery, prestige, branding. It was about me actually listening and understanding, helping him understand what is it you want and need. And that worked out very well.
Okay, that makes sense. So in that meeting, basically, you were not living up to his expectations.
No.
You did something different.
Yes.
And when you now, let's say that you actually move back into that meeting. And when in that meeting did you realize that he had bought you? Was it when he said it, or was it earlier?
No. That's one of the things I do well. It happened very early. First, I got him off tilt by doing something unexpected. And when he felt I was doing something unexpected, he stopped for a second thinking, what's going on here? And when he felt my genuine interest, then he let his guard down, and I knew there from the conversation we had, he said the things he wouldn't say normally with an agency. What are the actual problems? What worries me at night? It was a friendly conversation that was very honest. So and there I knew from here, it's about consolidating what we're doing right now, but you'll be my customer.
So it was basically the moment where, in a way, he let his guard go down and he opened up. And looking back at it now, it's also because that the other agencies, they would use the fear of what could go wrong. And he was already burning inside of what could go wrong because he was at an impasse with his company. And instead I made him feel like everything is possible. And that shifted his shoulders down, and he went back to the belief of actually giving birth to this company. What was it that made me believe in this so much? And that positivity that we could build on each other's energy, that closed the sale. No technique, nothing like that. Isn't it funny?
Yes.
That a lot of people out there think that when it comes to being good at selling, you need this technique, or you need to understand how to do this, or how to. And in my experience is that if you can just be curious, there's a lot of technique you don't need to master.
Yes, I completely agree.
And I hear that maybe you're not aware of it, but it seems like you actually, wow, you actually wanted to understand him.
Yes, that's one thing. Also having a game plan. I'll always do my research and be ready, but being able to see the small shifts in the room and thinking, oh, that avenue that I thought we were going to go down, we are not.
No.
And then change, very flexible, or and change the way you believe the pitch was going to go, or the value you create. And that's one of the things I like about sales. And I also studied all the techniques, but I don't apply them specifically. It's about an understanding of what are the tools in the toolbox, but mostly listening to the person, seeing what's he saying, but also what's his body saying. And that makes me kind of tune into, okay, now I know what drives your decisions. And then this kind of positive outlook on the future, because I came from very classic stretch selling. And people didn't like answering the phone because every time they picked up, I would tell them what their next problem was. And I like repeat customers because that's easier.
So I'm just curious, was it red wine?
Yes.
Okay. You know, we don't really like to start from the red, but and we don't like whining.
That's a good point.
So I think maybe that's maybe one exception. You can actually you use whining and red if you do it right.
Yes. You're right about that.
So actually there, when you, as you said, his shoulders came down.
Yeah.
One thing is that you can say, wow, now he's here. When did you realize, wow, I can actually do what he needs to have done? Well, when in the process did you get to that level? Because you understand, one thing is to have an open client.
Yes, and that I always need.
Yeah.
I will stay in that phase for as long as it takes to the openness. Also because clients lie, and they need to trust me before they actually tell me where it hurts.
Yes.
So I have to stay there for a while.
Yeah.
And then I told them, what do you believe has to be done to succeed?
Yeah.
And because I've been doing this for so long, I could very quickly hear that's not what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And after being very soft and receptive, I got up and I went to the board and I said, I understand where you're coming from, but that's not what we need to do. And let me show you what we need to do. So from there, I kind of gripped the situation, let him lean into me and say, you can trust me because I've walked this path 1,000 times before. And this is what I believe we should do. And he came up and it ended by us co-creating what was actually the roadmap for the beginning of his company. And today he has several employees and has raised money a few times. So we got something right. And the other way I normally do, if it's a young company, is I listen to their pitch. It's not often very good. And then I pitch it back to them the way I think it should be. And that makes people, when they think you can sell my company better than I can, then I know you're going to be my client.
It's a good starting point.
That's a very good place to start. And then I build from there.
Okay. So apparently this works, and I can see that it's really what happened. Now we are having people out there saying, okay, that's good. But what would be your recommendations if people want to be able to go in, have a meeting with a potential client in a way where they let their shoulders down, where they let their guards down and actually open up? Well, what is one of the important things that you can do to make that possible in a meeting?
Well, the one thing you should do, being the salesperson, is actually going in without an agenda. And that's very hard for many of us because we're driven by sales quotas or what we think we need. But when you push someone, they will always resist. That's just nature's law. When they feel that you're actually listening fully, that's a very good place to start. But also having a plan and being able to switch the plan as it goes, because this is people. It's not an Excel sheet. Understand what is actually going on by asking the right questions or listening the right way. But to me, I actually think if I were to call it a superpower, it's to make people feel genuinely that I'm listening to them, that I'm excited about them, and I really want to understand. I'm curious without an agenda. And when we get to that point, normally it's downhill from there.
Yeah. And when you are there, where you're truly listening,
Yes.
when you're curious, how do you know that you are there?
Because I also relax in some way by mirroring the person, and we kind of find the energy together.
Yeah.
I can feel how I focus.
Yeah.
I forget my phone.
Yeah.
I forget people walking on the other side of the glass, and we're very locked in.
Yeah.
And then something happens that then I go into micro expressions, and I learned this recently that when I'm in that hyper focus, then I really read the person, and that's how I minutely change where I'm going. Sometimes if I'm stuck, I will say 2 or 3 random things that are polarizing just to get some feedback, and that will often tell me where I need to go from there.
So what would you call that state? Is it hyperfocus or?
Lack of better word, yes. It's like the world disappears, and now I'm doing what I love the most, but I can only do it if we can meet each other halfway, and that's a feeling that you just know it. Sometimes the hair stands up, and even I can tell myself, oh, you're closed, because I know now I'm there. I can't.
So if you could go into any meeting with this hyperfocus, how would that impact your performance?
I think that would make me go from good to exceptional.
You understand?
Yes.
Yeah. And have you noticed how you do it?
I know some of it.
Yeah.
Because there's also just personality and energy. Some people you
let me stop you. I think what I see you do is that you look up there.
Yeah.
Then you breathe through your nose down to here.
Yes.
And when you breathe out, you have this hyperfocus.
That's not completely wrong.
No, it's actually what I would call your micro strategy.
Yeah.
For bringing yourself into that space where you have what we could call hyperfocus, where you have this capability of making the world disappear, and just really be curious about the client in front of you.
It's funny you say that, because I actually also use breathwork, and that was one of the techniques I got, and I think maybe I applied that, and you just made me realize, because we did some exercises to loosen the diaphragm. Yeah. And when I do that, I always relax, and from there it kind of turns on a switch. When I relax, then I'm at my best. Yes. Not when I'm pressed.
No.
Then I don't do my best work.
So I think again, I think what we see with most people is that a lot of people know a lot about what they're doing, but there's something they do very often before they think they do anything. You could say it's on an ontological identity. And I think the person you show up being have a huge impact on what you can actually do. I think this is one of the things we often in a way help salespeople do, is to understand what they can do somatically, so that they actually, in a way, as we say, become the best version of themselves. So you actually have access to do what you already can do well when you're like this. What do you think about that?
I think you're opening my eyes to something I'll probably use quite some time on thinking about, because I think you're right about what you're saying.
You have showed me now, we can go back in the video, you have done more than 8 times. So I have this policy that if I see a pattern, a sequence once, it can be a random. If I see it twice, I start to pay attention. When I see it more than 3 times, it's something I'm willing to learn back to the person. So my guess is that, let's say that we are going to have a meeting, then I will not be surprised if I will be doing, so Alexander, what is it that you want to get from the meeting today? Because I have this experience is that if I can bring my customer into a space where they are hyper-focused, where the world disappears, where they even forget about their mobile phone, now we have the space where we can actually have a conversation. And I think if you can have a conversation with a client, you're already in top 2%.
Yeah, that's what I always say, that in sales, competition sucks. Really, a lot of people, they just don't do their homework.
Yes.
It's not that good to be very good in sales. Not that hard to be very good in sales.
No.
And that's a bit frightening.
Yeah.
Actually, but I think that's the truth.
I see it as a great opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think, again, we are almost done for today, but what do you take from our conversation?
Well, I'm going to need to see the replay of this tape a lot of times to actually start decoding my own body language.
Yeah.
And also go home and ponder on how can I bottle what it is I do so I can do it more often and more controlled. Because I want to be in that state, but normally it kind of happens. I cannot put myself in that state. If I was able to do that, then I think a lot of things would become possible for me. So that I think I need to have a deep think on.
Yeah. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I hope also you out there on the other side of the screen had got some inspiration, because I'm totally 100% convinced that you also have a space. I think you already know it. When you go into that space, this is really where you can operate at your best. And I really hope that by watching today that you have got some inspiration, which at least will start to reflect a little on when are you really at your best, and how can you have more meetings like that. So I just look forward to see you again next week, where we will bring up a new subject and spread more good ideas, because I think the world deserves it and it needs it. So thank you for watching today.